All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our WCW pay-per-view review series. This is going to be WCW Slamboree 1998. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this. This had a unique challenge to it, a unusual main event, a very good match between two former WWE wrestlers, and not to mention a death cage match for the ages. Let's go ahead and get into this. May 17th, 1998, from Worcester, Massachusetts. Tony, Bobby, and Mike today doing the commentary on this one. About 11,592 on hand for this one. Before the night even started, they showed last week on Thunder Bischoff reading a letter from Vince McMahon's attorney. Now, this is in regards to this ridiculous challenge that Bischoff has put out to Vince to
It
show
was
up
real.
tonight.
It was real too. The letter.
He
Yeah.
did it. He really his arrogance. He I can't believe he did this. And if he imagine if he would have showed up,
That would have been great.
it would have been
And
awesome.
you got to I give Bischoff credit, man. It got a lot of
All the balls
publicity.
in the world,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
nothing, and he had nothing to lose.
No, except
If
a
Vince,
letter from the attorney. That's all.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm saying if Vince shows up, all right, it's gonna make history. And if he doesn't show up, he can say he's a
Ratings
coward.
will go through the roof.
Yeah, he's gonna say, and if he doesn't show up, he just he's a coward. He got scared, so he was in a no lose scenario.
Unfortunately, but later on, Vince gets his just dessert on this with Bischoff. Um, we obviously know Vince is not going to show up, but they're going to do this
Right,
whole
this one.
thing throughout the night. It was
It was
fun.
funny. I thought it was funny, man. I was
I'll admit, yeah, it
entertained.
was.
I was entertained.
Opening match of the night was for the television title. It was Fit Finlay versus Chris Benoit.
It was a good match.
Yes, it was. These two, man, they went toe to toe with each other. There wasn't a bad Benoit match, period, in WCW. And Fit Finlay, he wants a fight, and he'll fight anybody. He don't care how big, tall, whatever you are. He's gonna come
Mhm.
at you regardless. On the outside, Benoit hits Finlay with a chair, so obviously there's no disqualification in this
Uh,
match. The referee just doesn't care. Then goes for the diving headbutt, but I love how Finlay puts the chair up. So all he did was headbutt a chair. Now, as Benoit was going for his diving headbutt, Booker T comes down. Now, this whole rivalry going on for the television
mhm.
title at this point. I think that rivalry was better for the U.S. title when they had that 4 out of 7.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Finlay hits a tombstone pile driver, gets the pin, and Finlay successfully defends the title against Benoit. Benoit's one mistake was getting distracted by Booker T,
Yep.
unfortunately. Following this, Lee Marshall is interviewing Chris Jericho. Now, at this time, Jericho has done the 1,004 holds
Hmm.
over Malenko. Arm bar, Saskatchewan
Yeah, this
double
is great.
sling
This is
school
they
super.
haven't
I loved it. I
they haven't
loved it.
ha- they haven't had having their feud, and Jericho was basically, I guess Jericho's attitude was that he basically beat everybody, right? At that point, like,
Yes, there was nobody left for him, and Malenko just didn't have it anymore. And he says, "Oh, he's the man of 1,000 holds. Well, I'm a man of 1,004." I remember they go to commercial. He's coming back. He's like, number 941, armbar.
that was great.
Just had that
Jericho
huge
was
printout.
Jericho was awesome, man.
Jericho is probably on the Mount Rushmore for promos with
Oh
the
yeah, oh
microphone,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
So our next match on the card is Lex Luger versus Brian Adams with Vincent in his corner.
Yeah.
Now at this point, the NWO is having their split,
But yeah, the Wolfpack and
the Wolfpack and the Black and White.
Black and White, yeah,
So Brian Adams is Black and White.
Black and White, yeah.
Thank you. Now, during the match, Vincent trying to get involved in it, but Luger knocked him off the apron. Brian Adams signaling several times for Vincent to get involved. It just didn't work. Luger had his number. He puts him in the torture rack, and this match is over. We got a
See, yeah.
5-minute squash match on Brian Adams, unfortunately. But Lex Luger gets the victory, and he's signaling he wants the belt.
Mhm.
He always wants the belt. Every pay-per-view he's doing this. Following this, Saturn is in the back addressing the flock, saying that there is going to be no gauntlet match for the U.S. title tonight with Goldberg, because right now Goldberg is feuding with the flock. Says he will face Goldberg one-on-one
Mhm.
tonight, and that's it. Uh, Now, our next match on the card was a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the Cruiserweight champion. Chris Jericho would face the winner. They said that later on that night, but it happened to be the next match to follow. And he was also introducing
Yeah, which is awesome. He's just
Oh yeah,
ripping.
he's like chance to beat me, 2 out of 10.
Yeah, he's ripping everybody,
Every single one of them
everybody.
that came out. Now our participants were Damien 666, El Dandy, El Grio, Juventud Guerrera, Chavo Guerrero, Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty, man.
Oh
Marty
Lord,
Jannetty.
this was that quick cup of coffee
Cup of
with
coffee, man.
WCW. Evan Courageous, Billy Kidman, Lenny Lane, Psychosis, Silver King, Super Callow, Johnny Swinger, he didn't even know Johnny Swing, Swing,
Yeah.
what's this guy's name? And Volano 4. Now, also in the match was Cyclope, but he didn't mention him. It was a 15-man battle royal. Funny that when the battle royal was over and Cyclope wins, because the final four came down to Kidman, Psychosis, Hoovy, and Cyclope. Once it came down to Cyclope and Hoovy, Hoovy shook his hand, jumped over the top rope.
Yep, and a big reveal.
And he takes the mask off, and it's Dean Malenko. So now Jericho has to face Malenko once more. The crowd went nuts when Malenko unmasked. So here we go. We've got for the Cruiserweight Championship, Chris Jericho defending the title against the #1 contender, Dean Malenko. And Malenko went to town on Jericho in this match. It did not disappoint. With Jericho on the top rope, I love this move that he does. The fireman's carry off the top rope into the gutbuster. You do this wrong, you got a world of problems.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody has ever come away injured off that move. That's how good he is doing it. He applied the Texas Cloverleaf on Jericho, gets the submission, and Dean Malenko is now the new Cruiserweight champion. Sorry, Chris. Ran your mouth one too many times. Now, this is where the whole night gets interesting because we're watching a white limo on the Vinnie Mac cam.
Waiting for Vince to show up.
Yep, Doug Dillinger goes to the limo. Obviously, it's not Vince McMahon. So, in any event now, we go on to our next match. It's the Bowery Death Cage match between Diamond Dallas Page and Raven. And I love this feud. Not as much as I loved Page and Savage a year before,
right?
But this feud for Page was really good. Especially over the U.S. title, too, at that one point. Now, okay, Bowery Death Cage match. We're having a Hell in a Cell match here. Let's just be clear about it. That's what it is. Raven came out with a Riot Squad. Now, the only way to win is by opponent can't answer the 10 count. So we have a last man standing match. Let's just last man standing match at a Hell in a Cell. There we go. Now we got all sorts of weapons around this thing. Page hits Raven with a VCR, and for people that are probably watching this, going, "What is that?" It's what we used to watch back before DVDs. Well, what's that? Don't get me started. We're not that old. So Raven had a sleeper hold on Page. Page backs into the corner. Unfortunately, when he broke it, the referee went down. Then the numbers of the flock came out. You had Reese, you had Scotty Riggs, you had Sick Boy coming out.
The whole crew.
That got through the Riot Squad. Well, we'll find out who the Riot Squad is in a minute. Now, Van Hammer, former member of the flock for a minute, comes out from under the ring with a stop sign, mind you. Went after the flock, and he handcuffs Reese to the rail. We got a lot of handcuffs in this match, by the way. Riot Squad now in the ring it turns out to be Kidman and Horace, and Page Diamond cutters both of them, which was great. Raven hits Page with the fire extinguisher and then hits his even flow DDT on him, but Page got up before the 10 count. Raven hits a Diamond cut, insult to injury, but Page gets up again.
Nope.
Page finally hits a Diamond cutter. Both men were down, but Page got up, and it's questionable when at 10 that Page wasn't really up, but they awarded the bout to Page over Raven here. Now, what's funny is what happens after the fact. After a Riot Squad member was handcuffed, Sick Boy and Riggs go to the cage, as well as Horace and Kidman. Attacks Raven, the handcuffs Raven to the cage. This is getting totally whacked out now. The Riot Squad member finally takes his helmet off after he did all that, and we've got Mortis.
Yep.
No, we don't. We've got Canyon.
Damn it.
And Shivani was like, "That's the guy that's been showing up on Nitro." Yep. Now the Mortis gimmick is gone. Let the Chris Canyon era begin. I was so glad because this guy was very underrated. Thought they could have did so much more with him. He was even good on the microphone. Who's better than Canyon?
Yeah, no, he was. He was.
He was great.
Innovator offense. Yes.
And then he takes the helmet off and then hits Raven with a chair. So this storyline is far from over. Total chaos, but DDP gets the victory. Now they show the security on the Vinnie Mac cam and a paper that with pictures of Austin, DX, Vince McMahon on it. I love that. You see any of these guys?
Nah, it was cool, man.
The fact that they can get away with that at this point. Yes,
Vince had his own locker room and everything. So apparently, like, Bischoff was really ready for him to show up. Like he was ready. Like every interview I've ever seen with Bischoff, he said that he was ready to fight. He was gonna fight him. If Vince would have showed up, it was gonna be a shoot. And whatever happened, happened. He said that he did have Paul White, the Big Show, on standby. Like he told him, like, look, don't get involved, but if it gets really bad, if it gets too bad, jump in and pull Vince off of me. He's like, but
I don't think if Vince would have showed he's coming alone at this point, I think he's bringing everybody on that paper. I think he's bringing. Austin.
I would imagine if that were to happen. But listen, Bischoff, it would have been a good fight, man. Because
yes,
all right, Vince was big, he was a bodybuilder, but Bischoff was a trained martial artist, man. So you never know. Vince gets tired.
You're in his world,
right? Vince gets tired, all bets are off.
Can you just see DX showing up, and then here comes the NWO, and they're all just like bullshitting with each other. Oh, by the way, we got to fight over here.
You know what the sad thing is, though, man? They should have. I know they were competitors. You don't want to help the competitor, but if they could have worked out some sort of a deal where, like,
yeah, we talked about that.
Like Vince shows up one night, but then Eric shows up another night. Like they have a deal where, like, they do cross over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Would have been incredible.
It would have. And it's happening now. I mean, it's not. Thank God it's not AEW WWE. I know it's not as big as this back then.
TNA, man. But, yeah.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's helping them out. I mean, we have had some very good matches.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's my point is.
I know. It's not WCW back then.
But
as big as these two juggernauts were, to have a pay-per-view back then between these two.
And
amazing.
It would have been. The story that Hulk Hogan told Bischoff, like, whether you believe this or not, he did say it, I think, because there's no reason, I don't think, for Bischoff to lie about something like that. He said that because remember Hogan. This is coming from Bischoff, although some people say Bischoff's a liar too. But I agree. I when he speaks, I kind of feel like he's being honest, but that's just me. But he said that Hogan told him, like, listen, man, this is not a good idea. Like, Vince might actually show up. Like, this is not a good idea. So
yeah, because the ratings would not just for WCW, but imagine when he returns to Monday Night Raw, how many people are going to watch to see what he has to say about it,
right?
And where's he going to go from there?
Right, but Hogan's point was that, like, he might show up and beat the hell out of you. That was his point.
Yeah. And like we said before, he's not going to show up alone.
Well, so
I was kind of hoping he did, but in reality, we know it wasn't going to happen.
No, yeah, I mean.
So, and moving on, our next match was the Ultimo Dragon versus Eddie Guerrero. If Ultimo Dragon wins, Chavo Guerrero gets his freedom. Jesus.
This is a good match, too.
It was, especially the ending threw me through a loop the first time I saw this. Now, Dragon got the Dragon Sleeper on Eddie. This was pretty impressive. He got to the rope. He reversed it on Ultimo and applied the Dragon Sleeper to Ultimo Dragon on himself while putting his feet on the rope for leverage, but Chavo stopped the move. Dragon accidentally hits Chavo then with a spinning heel kick. Guerrero with a brainbuster, followed by the frog splash, and he gets the victory. Eddie Guerrero's the winner. Now, again, it's what transpired afterwards that made this even more interesting. Afterwards, Chavo attacks Ultimo Guerrero. Pretty much you think it's because you lost, and I'm still with this jerk. But Eddie wound up pulling Chavo off of Ultimo,
Hmm.
which was mind boggling to me. And Eddie's like kind of now impressed of how Chavo is like this. He's been trying to get this man out of him for so long that
Right,
it
right.
finally happened. I don't know. You want to be with him? You don't want to be with him? Why don't you just have a
Remember,
one-on-one match with him and get it over with? Oh wait, yeah, they
remember,
did that already.
remember the God damn, what was the name of the horse of the pony that he on the stick? Remember, Chavo
Pepe,
had, yeah, 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 yeah,
Pepe, yeah. Oh Lord,
yeah, yeah. Oh God.
yeah. Now in the back, they showed the dressing room for Vince McMahon, and it says Vince McMahon, and in quotes, the reason for the ratings.
Mhm.
Oh, just for that, I would have been like, get me to the airport. Because that right there is like now, mind you, at this point, the 83 weeks is over.
Right, but now they're
We didn't
going
even
back and
break that.
forth. But they're going back and forth now. They're trading victories.
WCW did do, I believe, another 20 weeks or a little less than that before finally they never won
Right.
another night
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that.
I don't know, but I know they were
But
kind
this
of like
right
going
now is
back
the
and
back and forth.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The business is red hot at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, you have don't, yeah.
Hmm.
Now, our next match on the card is for the United States title. Goldberg defending the title against Saturn. Match was actually pretty good. This has got to be one of Goldberg's
Yeah.
longest matches, 7 minutes. I mean,
Saturn.
Saturn held his own with him.
Hmm.
I mean, now what was funny was okay, Saturn uses a chair as a springboard to drop kick Goldberg. Don't do it again. Oh, okay, do it again. All
Okay.
right,
Yep.
does it again. Goldberg spears him, but messes it up. Gee, Goldberg messing up a move.
No, Goldberg's still, he's still green.
Well, you better hope he doesn't do that tomorrow night against Gunther at Backlash. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Goldberg with the jackhammer and the pin retains the United States title over Perry Saturn. Now, on to our next comedy hour. Eric Bischoff comes to the ring. This is now our Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon match.
I love those vignettes when they showed him training,
Yeah.
like hitting the bag and everything. Come on, Vince. Oh God, it was great. It was great.
Just show up,
This
Vinny.
show up
That's
this
all I need.
he was such a great heel, man.
It
Eric
was.
was such a great heel.
I said it back then, and I stopped saying it recently because I just don't think he had what it took for Vince McMahon's going. Anyway, to me, the only guy that could take Vince McMahon to the limit, possibly put him out of business, was Eric Bischoff.
Hmm.
The only man. Not Tony Khan, not any of the rest of them. Eric Bischoff was the only one. And when he went to TNA, I still thought it was a possibility, but that never happened. But
Now with Hogan involved.
no, not with all of that. No. Now Bischoff comes out to the ring thinking Vince will show. Bischoff, according to Michael Buffer, is putting his career on the line. And I quote, single-handedly built a wrestling empire like no other. And Tony Schiavone's going, he single-handedly did this? Really?
That's good. That's just good stuff. That's good heel
It
stuff.
is.
Yeah.
No, it is. I laughed when I heard that. I'm
Yeah.
like, you got to be kidding me. Now, Buffer introduces Vince McMahon, but he doesn't show.
Sure.
So now, not only the ref and Bischoff and the crowd counting to 10, but you hear Buffer counting to 10 too. So Bischoff wins. They say Bischoff wins by forfeit and disqualification. No, you won by forfeit. There is no disqualification. Yeah, default.
So
Exactly.
he's 1-0 versus Vince at this point.
So yeah, he wins a match that Vince never signed a contract for. So okay,
Still won.
whatever.
Still won.
He still won, but
He didn't
again,
show up.
Vince
He
will get
cowered.
his
Vince got
revenge
scared,
later.
man. Vince got scared.
Oh. Let's hear that from him. I doubt he'd even remember it at this point. Well, quite frankly, I didn't give it no mind back then. In any event, after that was this match was my favorite of the night because we really never got to see this intensity rival type of match between these two in WWE. With the special guest referee Roddy Piper in a grudge match, you had Macho Man Randy Savage versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Hard, yeah.
Oh my God, this match! You have Captain Chaos versus I guess I'm a heel again. Doesn't matter, but and you're a Bret Hart fan, so I know you saw this. There was the same intensity and the same rage and passion in his eyes that he had for the business in WWE. That was I did not see that
No,
here. It was
he was going through
lost.
the motions. He was just kind of going through the motions. This match should have been better than what it was, you know.
It really should have.
And they, I mean, they had a feud and everything, but just doesn't. I don't know. And did you notice Michael Buffer introduced Brett as Brett, not Brett the Hitman Hart? Brett. That's what he introduces him as. But anyway,
Gotta love Michael
the
Buffer
other thing too is that what's a little annoying. I mean, Hogan's not even on this pay-per-view. We didn't even mention that. He's nowhere to be found.
again.
I guess they're saving his dates for later on because they
Yeah,
got to pay him so much money. But he's the champion at this point. He just beat Macho Man the day after Macho Man won the belt. Remember, Macho Man beat Sting, and then Hogan beat him the night after. I think it was on Nitro. It had
gotta
to be
love it.
on Nitro. So this could have been Macho Man with the championship belt versus Brett, which would have made it bigger,
I would have liked to see
yeah,
that.
or even Hogan Brett, for that matter.
Yeah,
Which
that doesn't work for me, brother.
yeah. So either way,
The match starts on the outside. Brett refusing to get in. Finally,
yeah,
Piper
Brett
just throws him
throws him
in.
in. Yeah.
Now, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, WrestleMania 8 revisited here
Hmm.
between these two. Like, I'm waiting for somebody to say something between the two, like, I remember 92 type thing. We didn't get it. Brett pushes Piper. Piper says he'll disqualify him and award the bout to Savage. And Brett's just looking at him like, then do it. I don't care. I'll still beat his ass
Right.
down, and whether I get the match or not. The fact that Piper said that, I'm like,
Hmm.
have you lost a step or two? Because you'd be the type of guy that you'll sit outside and let them beat the crap out of each
Hmm.
other and then just come in to count to three. But whatever. They took the fight through the crowd. Piper let them do that. Now, during this match, Tony Schiavone announces that Scott Hall has shown up
Right.
because
Scott
they're
Hall's back.
concerned about the main event for the tag titles.
He had been MIA.
Which, by the way, I'll get to him in a minute when he came out. Now, Savage hits the elbow drop on Brett, but the injured knee
Hmm.
is what has him compromised at this point. He couldn't get the pin on Brett. Brett applies the sharpshooter. At this point now, Elizabeth comes down, and that's the big, she got a huge pop from the fans. Savage reversed it, the sharpshooter. I love how my Tony goes, how did he do that? He asked Sean.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But Burt got to the ropes for that one. Now Elizabeth in the ring. Savage pushes Piper. Here we go. Brett low blow to Savage as Piper's dealing with Elizabeth. Now Savage took the taped object off Brett's hands that he was using. Once again, here we go. Hogan comes down and attacks Savage's knee.
Yeah.
He takes him out. Brett puts the sharpshooter on and gets the win by submission. That's the only problem I have with this match. I wanted a straight up win
If
between
Hogan's
these
not
two.
gonna, for him to pop up like that, like it's
If you're not going to defend the title, get the hell out of here.
Right.
This is the second WCW pay-per-view we've done in as many weeks where we've said the same thing. Oh, Hogan came down, and it was the same thing. It was a Savage match. So Piper takes the object off of Savage. Afterwards, Brett spit on Savage as a sign of disrespect.
Damn it.
It is what it is, but Bret Hart gets the victory over the Macho Man. On to our main event for the WCW tag titles. It's the Outsiders defending the titles against newly rejuvenated NWO member, the Giant,
Right.
and Sting.
And Sting, yeah. So Sting hasn't decided who he's gonna join at this point. He's neutral. He's not Wolfpack. He's not Wolfpack. He's not Black and White.
He's not even WCW.
And the Giant just joined the Black and White. So now he's again. So now he's a heel.
But he tells Sting, you can trust me. He goes, I've got your back.
Right.
Like that's gonna go a long way.
Right, that's real. Yeah, that's real comforting. So yeah, so these guys so this is like Scott Hall in the Wolfpack, Dusty Rhodes in the Wolfpack, right? With Nash, and we'll see what happens with that.
Now, when Hall came out, he looked like he was drunk. At least to me. When he first came out, he kind of stumbled a little bit.
He might have been playing it up though.
I hope so. I love when he went in the ring. He does the survey.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all come here to see WCW?
Yeah.
Love that shit.
The Wolfpack were the baby faces at this point too. They were just starting to. The Wolfpack had just formed at this point. They didn't even have the theme song yet, right? They didn't have the.
No, they did. They came out to the NWO theme.
They get it a little bit later on.
Now, what would transpire later on would shock the world. But before that, Dusty distracting the referee, and I still can't even believe he's in this.
What the hell was he even? I've always said, what the hell was he even doing there?
I don't know.
He had no business.
They just make it
He did
irrelevant,
not fit.
unfortunately.
That's when they were
They,
throwing an NWO shirt at anybody.
yeah, and seeing
Yeah,
which one of them would work
right,
out. Nash goes for the jackknife powerbomb on the Giant. Well, we've learned that you shouldn't do that. But anyway, Hall grabs the title belt and hits Kevin Nash with
right.
it.
This it's just the swerve.
You broke up the Outsiders.
Stupid. I
Giant
know.
falls on Nash, gets the pin, and Giant and Sting are the tag team
Right, and Sting
champions.
is looking like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, because now Giant is hugging Hall, who obviously Scott Hall has gone to the black and white.
Right.
He's hugging Scott Hall, who he's just
Which
beating the crap out of, and Sting's standing there going, "Oh shit, what's going on
right.
here?"
That was a mistake splitting them up. They should have kept them together. Scott Hall and Nash,
Yeah.
they should have always been Wolfpack, in my opinion. But it was a swerve. I didn't really care for the ending. I thought it was kind of a stupid ending.
It was because now Sting's looking like he's not even
Yeah,
holding the tag
I don't like
title, and
the
he's
ending.
like, "I'm the champion," and
Right,
what is this?
right. No. So
The whole Scott Hall, yeah, on Kevin Nash. No,
no.
you got to keep, yeah, like you said, you got to keep those guys together.
Yeah, definitely. This pay-per-view had its moments. It's not a bad pay-per-view. It has
No, it's
good
not.
moments in it. It was decent. I didn't care for the ending, but I thought
No,
it was
the ending stunk up
right,
the whole
right, right,
night,
right.
and
But
then Hogan pulling the bullshit with Savage
yeah,
again. Not if you're not like I said, if you're not gonna be on the card, get the hell out of here.
exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Take care.